this is actually a topic I love talking about, which is how do you actually get people to be creative? And how do you get to be creative? That's really the bigger challenge, is trying to figure out some way to come up with that genius idea, that one where you're like, oh, well, of course, that's the answer. And tragically, a lot of the time we just feel stuck when it comes to creativity. And the people who I love the most are the ones who say, you know what, I'm just not very creative. Because if you're one of those folks, I just want to say one thing to you. That's crap. You're very creative. You really genuinely are. And this is like a quick geek check. And that is, some of you remember Star Trek, the original series. There was an episode with Dr. Richard Daystrom, and it was called The Ultimate Computer, which, by the way, was the size of a small apartment. But The Ultimate Computer was this particular episode, and what happened in that episode, at one point, Jim Kirk, Captain Kirk, says those fateful words, "You cannot simply say, 'Today I will be brilliant.'" And to Captain Kirk, with deference, sorry, yes you can. You can be brilliant on any given day. You can be creative on any given day. And through the course of our time together, what I want to do is I want to reinforce and reaffirm for you that you, one, can be creative. You can know with just the insights you have in your own head. You really have an amazing set of gifts. Your past experience, in terms of what you've done, in terms of what's rattling around up here in your skull. Now, quick on that is if you do, if you don't have one, or if you're in your, someplace else where you don't have access, but let me suggest, grab a piece of paper, because plain old paper. I would recommend that over tapping it onto the computer screen. But if you have to go to the computer screen, fine, open a notepad, because I'm going to be asking you some active questions. I am. During the course of our time together, I'm going to ask you some active questions, and I'm going to ask you to input some of them into the Q&A function. We're going to leverage that Q&A function or the chat function. Either one of those will suffice, but the Q&A is the simplest one for me to monitor. And I'm going to be asking you some questions, and I'm going to be asking you to put your answers in the Q&A, because you're going to get a chance to prove just how clever, how creative you can be under the gun. Now, and it starts with, and the whole discussion here, it says 4, maybe 5 techniques. Well, 4 techniques. These are our 4 techniques that we're going to talk about today. These are the 4 creativity techniques that we're going to examine, and you're going to find out just how creative you are. You really are. You're about to find out just how creative. Oh, there's another one. 4 techniques. If you're ever trying to extract information from others at a brainstorm, if you're ever trying to extract it from yourself, if you just say, I've got to sit down and write down as many ideas as I can think of, you're killing yourself. You're making creativity much harder than it has to be. The number actually counts. Here I said our 4 techniques. Our 4 techniques. But the 5th one is the number. It's the number 4. How is that a creativity technique? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's a target. It's a goal. We will get through 4 techniques, or in our case, 5. We're going to get through 5 techniques. As soon as you put a number there, there's hope. There's promise. If you've ever been in a brainstorm where nobody will say anything, you say, anybody have any clever ideas, any thoughts? And you'll look around the room and you hear crickets. Hold on a second. This is my little, I actually keep them on my desk as a reminder. This is my cricket. I actually have a cricket. But you hear crickets. And crickets. As soon as you hear crickets, you're like, oh, I'm doomed. This isn't going in the direction I wanted to. I wanted these people to be creative. You want to extract creative genius? do a reverse brainstorm. Brainstorms are supposed to go on as long as there are new ideas being offered. No. You want to get people to be downright creative and want it to happen fast? Very simply, look at them and say, tell you what, I need 4 ideas, or I need 5 ideas. As soon as I have 5 ideas, we're off the hook. It's amazing how fast the ideas will flow. Do you know why? Because people want out. They want it to be over. They want it to finish. We've all been in the brainstorm that will not die. Oh, and that's horrible, isn't it? Where you're sitting there going, any thoughts? Any thoughts at all? Oh, Jim? Yeah? Okay, good. Thank you. Any other? Oh, Jim, another good one. Okay, thank you. Any other thoughts? Anybody? Jim? Okay, good, Jim. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Anybody at all? Anybody? Jim? Okay. And in the back of the room sits Marty and Ted, who are both saying, I say nothing. This ends sooner. If we have a target, if we have a goal, the people who would otherwise not participate. The people who would otherwise not strive for their own creativity will wax creative. They will actually just dive right in. They'll join in the fray. Why do they join in the fray? Because you gave them a target. You gave them something to hit. You gave them a goal and a sense of when it will be over. And if people think that their ideas are actually going to generate something positive in their mind, completion is a positive moment, that's a good thing. That actually buys some stock. It puts us in a much better position. And it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. Now, we are going to do a little creativity. And I'm going to give you a chance. I told you, you need to have a notepad in front of you. You'll need to have something. And let's take a look at these. Come up with 4. And I'll tell you what I'd like you to do. And the reason I want you to do this on a notepad or on a piece of paper is because we're going to go over your results on this. And I want you to come up with, you can pick any one of these 3 bullets, but go ahead and pick one before you start coming up with answers. Pick one. And to come up with 4 ways or 4 things. Ways or 4 things. And I want you to jot them down. And I'm only going to give you about 90 seconds. And by the way, if you're watching the recorded version of this, I expect you to do this. I really do. You want your PDU, you should be doing this. Yeah. So, for those of you who are here with us in reality, in real time, I'm going to ask you to pick one of those and just jot them down. You've got 90 seconds. Go. People are actually listening to this later. It's kind of 90 seconds of dead silence. The one a note of us. First, easily. Fire a little strain. For the 4th, we'll be rummaging through the attic of your minds. Footnote to all of this, Dr. C.C. Crawford, the man who developed the Crawford slip, set up with 10 ideas on any given topic. 10. And Crawford he suggested that if you go to 10, you'll get people's most creative and wild stuff. As a facilitator, I can tell you, if you go past 7, they will turn on you. So how Crawford got people to go to 10, I will never know. But it is noteworthy. You've got about another 15 seconds to go here.